What's up, guys? I think you all knew this video was coming. The debate between talent and hard work, specifically when it comes to Smash Bros. Now, there's been a lot of discussion lately, especially, on Smash Twitter, as to whether or not you can achieve the status of being one of the best players in the world with just tons of resilience and hard work, or whether it's just something that's reserved for people who are born with natural talent. Now, off the get-go, I'll just, put this disclaimer here. There are many theories that exist on whether or not people are inherently born with talent when it comes to something that requires mental, ability, right? When we talk about physical ability, something like being a basketball player, if you're born with being 7 foot tall, or if you're born being 5 foot tall, will probably have a bit of an effect on whether or not you can be a basketball player. If you're born with a very large diaphragm as a singer, it'll probably give you a bit of an edge to being a professional singer or opera singer as opposed to the regular person. If you're, there's a lot of other examples you can do that you're born genetically with physical traits, which might make you sort of predispositioned to be better at other things, which is okay. I encourage anyone who's tall to, to try out sports, or anyone who's very, very fast. These things come naturally, and there's tons of examples of that as well. But we're talking specifically about a video game. We're talking specifically about a game called Smash. And so the question is, can we compare Smash to the other most readily available game that involves, mental training and knowledge and know-how and training and player matchups? Can we compare Smash to chess? Now, chess is a game that doesn't involve speed. We're not talking about blitz chess. I'm talking about traditional one-on-one chess. I wanted to use any board game as an example, or any game that involves two people sitting down. But chess is a game that is open to everyone. Even blind people can play chess. There are examples of famous players who are blind. There's examples of people who, they can't even use their hands, but they can still play chess because they can use sign or signals to say where they want pieces to move. Chess is a great example because there's virtually no barriers to playing the game if you have enough time to practice it and learn it. So the question is this: can anyone in the world become a chess player and become a chess pro? Or is there some natural talent to it which makes some chess players better than others? Is there a reason Magnus Carlsen is where he is because of grinding when he was little? Or was he simply born with a natural talent? And you might say, okay, wait, Hbox, I thought this video was about Smash. It is. I'm using the chess example really, really quickly because there shouldn't be barriers in chess physically. Chess is something that if you have two people born at the same exact time, maybe different countries, maybe, different circumstances, both of these kids can put in the exact same hours into chess. And there's no way of knowing whether this kid or this kid will be better growing up at the game. There's no real way of knowing it until you let time pass for about 5 years and then see where they're at, right? And in some cases, this kid might have only played a tenth of the hours that this kid played. And yet this kid is ranked way, way, way higher than this kid. And that happens in Smash too. In fact, that happens in tons and tons of competitive games, competitive non-physical activities, esports, card games, board games, whatever you want to call it. In things that involve competitive nature, for some odd reason, there are a wide number of examples in which the person who didn't have to play as much is just inherently way better. And it's odd because it shouldn't make sense and it shouldn't really be that way. My answer to that is this: there are always going to be those examples, but there's always going to be examples of people going against that grain, where traditional hard work really, really pushes you to the absolute limit, right? Where you put all of your time and dedication and effort into one thing that you were previously not just not very good at, but horrible at, and you brought it all the way to the point where you're a world-class competitive player, right? When you look at me in Melee, I picked up Puff when I was 13 years old, something like that. Maybe 12 casually, 13 competitively. And I got very good very quickly with a character. In fact, my training group called Watto was full of people who've been playing the game for years before me. Literal years. And within about 7-8 months of being in their group, I went from being the worst player in that crew to the best one, beating them all the time. Now, what happened in that one small example in a myriad of hundreds of thousands of examples of other people getting good at other things? What made my example my example? Was it because I was the youngest person in the crew and I was able to get quicker because my brain was forming more synapses and I was able to do more? Was it because of the character that I chose and people weren't really experienced in that matchup and I took advantage of it and pushed it all the way to the end? Or was it because of this inherent natural skill talent argument, which we should be going at this back and forth with? It's odd to say that I could have someone who even played the same character as me for way longer than I did with a similar level group of people and not be placing as high as I do. It's weird to say that example for anything else. I think my understanding of this talent versus hard work argument is the following. If you are willing to put as much time as possible into being the best player you can at something, then you should go for it. Everyone has a peak potential. Everyone can push that peak potential even further than their own beliefs. But it's up to them to find what that actual peak potential is. It's up to them to break their own ceilings. How much work it takes to break through that ceiling might differ in people's natural ability. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. But it's my belief that with enough work, you can become as good as anyone or as better as anyone. I don't know the science as to why some people need to do more or some people need to do less. Maybe there is more to it. Maybe they're just in the example that I made that some people are 7 foot tall and some people are 5 foot tall. So obviously the 7 foot tall person is going to be way, way better at playing most, formats of basketball. Maybe that's the case too, but with esports or video games. And it has to do with the brain. Maybe it's something we don't really understand yet. Maybe some people's smash brains are 7 feet and some people's smash brains are 5 feet. So I wish I knew more of what that meant as a semblance. But you know what? There's been basketball players who've been very short and incredibly good and very tall and incredibly good. In Smash, because even if there is that difference in natural Smash ability and it's hard, I still think you can do it. You might have to work harder than anyone's ever worked, but it's not fair to tell someone, no, you shouldn't work the absolute limit because you're never going to get there, unfortunately, and that's okay. I don't think that's fair to say. I think it's fair to tell people that the reality is you probably have to work way harder than other people, but that's okay. No one can tell you how you grind. No one can tell you what matters or method you chose to improve. No one can tell you which locals to go to and which tournaments to not go to, or what groups of people to practice with, or what things in your life you want to put aside to fill with pure grinding of Smash or whatever other game you want to play. That's only up to you. I plateaued for a long time in Melee. I obviously was a pretty good player starting off, and I got good really, really quickly, and the game clicked with me. But when I think about it too, I grew up from the age of 8 to all the way to 13 playing platformers on my Game Boy Advance, and I'm loving video games in general that were platformers. So maybe that spacing and movement already was there. And I was quietly and subconsciously doing a spacing grind by playing other games when I was little. And then when Smash came, it all came together in this beautiful esports package, which then became my career. Maybe that's the case. But there's so many variables involved with that it's not really fair to group into one large assumption. All right. So it took me a while to get my thoughts on this and bearing what it is. So, of course, TLDR, some people do have to work harder than others because of maybe the conceived notion of what talent is. But that amount of work is limitless. That amount of work you can put into something is limitless. You're only limited by, I guess, circumstance, right? If you have no internet or Wi-Fi, yeah, you're not going to get good at the game. If you have no tournaments around you in your area, it's probably going to be near impossible. But if you find a way to get around your own circumstance, that level of work, that is limitless. And that should not be limited to anyone for any reason. That is all you, and you could be the next best player in the world if you truly, truly dedicate yourself. Will you be the next player in the world? The next best player? No one can say that but you, honestly. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Anyways, also want to say thank you to everyone for continuing to tune in and do some great things here and there. It's been, also obviously a lot of fun doing a lot of these online tournaments. In a sense, Ultimate has been sort of that question for me, because maybe I put my own barrier there in playing Jigglypuff, right? I've been playing Wi-Fi Puff on these Ultimate tournaments for a very, very long time now. Well, not a long time, but, for a few months now. And there's been huge improvements, but then, like, when I lose early in bracket every once in a while, it makes me wonder, is this even worth it? Is it even possible with Ultimate Puff? And whether or not you can be the best in the world with a low tier, that's obviously a way different argument. But it sort of does relate to this, because I want to follow my own advice in saying only you can be only you can determine how much work you put in. So maybe I got to work twice as hard. And maybe everyone else should also do the same at what they want to do. Don't let ceilings and, don't let ceilings that you think exist limit you, because there's always more you can do. So yeah. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Keep on the grind, and if you're the potential next best player in the world watching and your circumstances suck, I hope that your circumstances get better, and I hope that you can wipe the barriers away and kick everyone's ass, including mine, in the future Smash title. We'll see you soon.